all the stuff for what I use to make my setup. So I basically created a mock setup, or what could be the setup for the Sparkman Goat tournament. You can see here I've just created the scene file, and then the very first scene in that, which is going to be the starting soon file. My screens are already done. I'd already have the screens pre-made. I've already got my text files pre-made, as well as some source material like the pictures of the individual maps. So I don't complete the process entirely as far as uploading all of the maps. And the maps that are in the map pool screen are undecided. It's just a filler, so there's something there to give you an idea of what I might do. It varies if it's a set map pool versus a loser pick kind of situation. So that changes how you design things and what's available to you as far as features and cool tricks you can use, I suppose. Excuse me. So I figure I'll just play back um, the process of me going through. This is a trial screen grab program called Snagit. It seemed to work okay, but it glitched out on me halfway through, so I had to kind of go back and re-record some stuff. So it's through the last of it, you don't get to see me actually building every scene, but it kind of moves it along a little quicker, and I think it'll get the point across. Perhaps it'll be a little bit more concise this way. So hopefully it'll work out. Um, without further ado, we're just gonna hit play on this screen grab. So again, master file within Streamlabs OBS, working on the starting soon screen first. Basically going to create the screens that we're going to use live. So we're going to start with starting soon, then we'll create the be right back in the final score screen, and we'll go into in-game and map pool from there. Here, just finding the image again. I already have all my screens are made. Got them all organized in a file. Got a file for overlays, file for text. So we're gonna go grab our first image, just our base starting soon file here. And we're gonna go ahead and create the other scenes. So we're gonna go ahead and create the be right back screen, which I prefer using the term intermission on the screen itself. I think it just there's a little bit different connotation in tournament. But you can always use it to BRB for short. Whatever convention works for you. As far as naming, it's just important to stay organized, but whatever works for you as far as naming convention. So now we're going to go ahead and create the final score screen. We can get a little music playing in the background here. Keep that audio low for you. All right, so created our final score screen, imported our image there. All right, so now we're getting into some nuts and bolts here. So in-game live, we're not actually doing anything with this yet. We're just making it so the scene is there. We have everything that we need. And then we're gonna have map pool live. So these are our 5 using screens. These are our 5 screens that we will touch during an event, during a tournament game. I like to put them, the 2 that I touch the most will be up top. For a live scenario, I'd probably move the BRB screen directly below map pool because you touch that one more often. Your starting soon and final score screens are obviously bookends. So you only touch those at the very beginning, the very end. All right, so we're going to create an in-game static. This is an important one here. So we're going to put all of our base stuff, all of the things that we're not going to have to touch during a match, all of that is going to go into in-game static. Now that includes our text too. So this is creating a game window. Go find your capture through there. Resize if necessary. This is not ideal. This is just for the purposes of showing here. You want to resize your game capture window to be as large as possible, get as much resolution as you can. This is more just illustrating a point here. So we'll get it perfectly into place. We'll be able to copy and paste this into our alt sides, but can't get ahead of myself here. All right. First thing first, just getting our game capture laid in. Then we'll start importing our stuff on top of it. So the idea behind this is you get all your static stuff into this scene. We're going to import this scene into the in-game live. That's why I make the distinction in the naming convention. It creates less clutter and gets all of this text files and stuff just out of our way. We're going to use a similar method for the map full screen as well. So we're going to go find our overlay image here. So we'll just navigate back to our folder. Again, just keep things named. Don't leave stuff as just text file or image. Name everything. Just keep it organized. These can get pretty in-depth, especially once you start doing loser picks. If you have, get into it a little bit later, you can have files to show what map is coming up next, as well as the text itself. So the more organized you keep it, the more complex you can get without it being overwhelming. So have my game capture up right now. We're just making a custom game, throwing some AI in there. This is strictly just to test the UI. This is to test our overlay, to make sure that everything lines up properly. You know, things are sitting where I want them to. And this should be already done from a designer standpoint. I like to have it just plug and play. You can just drop right in, boom, it just sits right where it's supposed to, which this one does. But it's always good to test. I mean, obviously I'm going to test on my end. And, you know, things aren't final until tournament time, until match time, and even then things are going to change. So can always go back and adjust a font or make something a little bigger, change a color. And then you can always adjust, especially, you know, if you have the designer at your fingertips. All right, so we're going to go and start adding our text. We like the way things are lining up. Let's go get our text in here. So we're going to go find our font, which we're using Fat Cow as our font. Thought it was appropriate for a GOATS tournament. Keep it in the barn, I suppose. Now we're navigating to the text file itself. Let me turn me off real quick. Nope, as it goes away. But we have a folder with a list of text files. Here, let's see if I can back this up. All right, so these are the pre-made text files I have that we're going to use for this tournament setup. So you got left team name and score, right team name and score, map number, and the map name, which I call next map. So we select left team name. Now what's good about this is whenever you change one text file, it will update throughout the entire production. So that's why I do it this way. Set our color, we want it to be black. My drift control has got us looking at the ceiling. I think I fixed that, or tried to. Yeah, there we go. Good angle, good angle. I think capturing and running the screen capture program is causing quite a pull on my computer here. You can see the quality dip dramatically on the capture itself. It's okay. Right now we're just worried about the setup. We're worried about all the stuff at the bottom of the screen. All right, so this is good. We got it on our first person perspective here. Just double checking, making sure everything looks good. Logo at the bottom overlaps nicely. Nothing too crazy. But in this file, okay, so we're trying to get our name centered up here, see if we like our size. Oh, I meant to go adjust the font size, I believe. I like to adjust font size from within there and keep it consistent as opposed to trying to change the handles on the font. Here, let me get my camera back up. So it keeps a more consistent factor, and plus you risk distorting the font, as well as losing some pixels if you just enlarge it, as opposed to actually going in and adjusting the font size. So I'll typically try to keep the preset font sizes and use that just for consistency's sake. So I know this one's just gonna be a straight 48. I don't adjust the size at all. It's all 48 is always gonna look the exact same with this font. Let's go select our score. Sometimes, especially with the smaller assets here, it won't let you grab them. Streamlabs OBS will want to grab the larger items first. So one thing I had to go in there was I hide them at first, but what you really want to do is go lock them, which you'll see me do here in a second. Yeah, so we're going to go back in and lock them, make sure those don't move, those don't change position on us. That'll allow us to eventually grab our score. It's got so many handles just kind of crammed into that corner. It can be touchy. So we'll get it centered best we can, and try to use the numbers as best you can for centering. So I'll use the guides across the top. It'll say, it'll be 31 pixels from the top. So when I go do the score on the right side, I'll keep that consistent. It just helps keep things nice and lined up, keeps it clean. So I was hoping to get a little bit bigger number there, but I don't like it. Not enough spacing on it, so we're gonna have to go back to the smaller size. All right, so we'll do the same thing for the other side. Get the map number in there. All right, we'll get that in position. Then we're going to go ahead and put the right team's name in there. And we'll let this play out from here. So new text file, right team name. Go select our font. Set it to 48. Read from file, go find our file, right team name, boom. Set our color. Boom. And we know from the numbers with our left team name, we know where to put it. So we're just going to go get it generally into place. I may have noted the number before. I may go back and click on left team name here. I don't quite remember. Yeah, I just set it to the numbers. Then we're going to go find our right team score. Navigate to our file, get our size set, get our color set. Looks good. Let's go get our black. There's our black. We'll get that set in a position. So that's all set. In-game static is pretty much ready to go. You can see we have our live overlay. You got game capture at the very bottom, live overlay, team name, score for both sides. So we're gonna make a new scene. This is in-game alt sides. This is so we can easily swap our sides. We don't lose any of our information. We don't lose our scores. It just one click of a button, boom, teams are flipped, colors are flipped. So it's easy for the viewer to follow. And with this, we can just copy paste. We got our game capture there. We can come in, just paste, duplicate our game capture here. It would allow us to make any local adjustments. If we use reference, then if you move this one, it will move the other one. With duplicate, we could do micro adjustments if we wanted without affecting the original. So with that in mind, we're going to use paste duplicate here. And that'll allow us to move the team name over without affecting the original one. Go navigate to our overlay. Make sure and name stuff. Very important. Again, organization. Alright, so we're going to go find our alt side, our SGT file. There's Sparkman Goats Tournament. There we go. So now we have colors on the opposite sides. We'll get our scores set. So we're going to go ahead and keep it called right team score for consistency's sake, so we know it. But we are going to go ahead and shift right team score over to the other side, so it's with the gray-blue color up here. We will continue to do the same, so we'll copy and paste in the rest. Copy and paste in right team name. Drop it on in to our alt sides here. And you can see it appears over there. So we know it's perfectly in line where we want it to be there. So we can use those numbers to fix it on this side. So do micro adjustments to keep it exactly like it is on our other one. It makes a nice clean swap. Looks really good. The map number we can just paste right in. Just drop it right on in there. Boom, good to go. So we'll continue to do the same. We'll go copy and paste our left team score. So we're now pasting that into our alt sides. Oh, once again, make sure I lock everything. So those scores are so small. Difficult to grab with the hand sometimes. But we'll get our left team score positioned on the orange bar over there on the right hand side. We'll copy and paste the name. Once again, using our numbers, we can get it exactly to the same spot on the opposite side. And there we have it. Then your alt sides are done. So what this will allow you to do, so if we go back to our in-game live, I turned off the capture for this, but it is still there. But so you can see our in-game static and our in-game alt sides are all filled out. Then our in-game live, we just go to scene, add scene, scroll down and find those two. We have in-game static and in-game alt sides right there. So you can just import those in. And then you can, one click of a button, turn them on and off. Turn on the alt sides. There you go. You have the left team on the right-hand side there, still in their colors. And you can see their scores are swapping as well. So if you notice, I have a score of 2 there for the left team. You can see all that information transfers over. Not quite done yet there. You need to go in and import the attack and defend icons. So it's a simple image I have pre-made. Again, it should be preset. All you gotta do is import it in, and then you can turn those on and off at whim. And again, that works with either side. So it does not affect, whichever team is attacking first. It works independently, and I like to just have them turned off for control maps. But it gives you another handy tool. And as you can see here, everything coincides. So you have the 2 for the score in every screen. Starting soon screen, be right back screen, map pool screen, everything coincides, live screen. So that's the reason we do the notepad method or use a text file of some sort to create that and then link all those together. A little bit more on the map pool itself, the map pool screen itself. So again, we use a map pool live and a map pool static. So just like you have the in-game static and the in-game alt sides, you have a map pool static. And we have everything you see here in the map pool static. So it's our base image, and then it's going to be all the text. So the team names, the scores. You have the next map there, where it says next map. You have where it says Nepal next to it. So that text file, which is the next map text file, not to be confused with the text you see on the screen. But then the map number also, once again, coincides. So all you have to do is change it once, changes here, changes on the live screen. So then you go to Map Pool Live. And in Map Pool Live, you go to Scene, and import the Map Pool Static scene. And that'll be all of that. So then the only other thing you're putting into the Map Pool Live scene are any additional overlays. So the map 1 selected is an additional overlay, and then any map pictures. So I like to have the map pictures divided into folders, so you can just open the map 1 folder. You have all your options for what different maps could be chosen from, in a loser pick scenario in particular. And then you can just go in and select the map that's going to be next. In this case, again, none of these maps are actually determined for this tournament. I've placeholder maps in here because the map pool has not been released for this particular tournament. But rolling with our illustration that Nepal is map 1. So here I'm going in, you can see I go into my text file, change to map 2, it updates on the screen there right below the image, map 2. So I believe I'm illustrating here, yes, if you go to the in-game live screen, also updates. So this is just super handy. Alright, and then this is a little just additional stuff. So I have a map number selected. With this, you can kind of highlight which map comes first or which map you're currently on. So you can see how that one just became more saturated and popped out from the group. I started playing around in Kaibe when I was doing that tournament with a colored overlay for, if the orange team won and our blue team won, you could have a highlight there. Another important thing to note is for the map pool screen. Okay, let me back up the capture here. So for the map pool screen, the team names up here, well, I don't even know if that shows up on stream. I'm kind of curious of that. Hold on, I am going to go check. Can you see, I don't know who my viewer is, can you see the pen drawing on the screen? Did that take for stream, or is that only on my end? Good questions. Learning every day. Boom. No, it does not look like it did. Okay, I'll find a way to make sure that my my drawing tool here, when I draw on the screen, translates into stream. Yeah, we'll work on that. But needless to say, the point I was making is the team names here are a different size than the team names in the in-game live. So if we go back here and go back to where it shows, where do we do that? We adjust the map number. Yep. Okay. So here, boom. You can see here that the actual font size is different. So I make a different file for. If we go back to map pool static, you can see all of my team names have MP next to them. Now that's because I created a different one that's for the map pool screen. Because they are a little larger. If I tried to do a copy paste of the ones from in-game, they would be the same size as these guys. And if I went to change it, it would change the ones here. So that's important to note. So they're both drawing from the same text file. If I put a team name in or change the score, all of these will update. But it is a separate text file within OBS. Now, where this does come in handy is here. So once we start doing all of the starting soon and be right back and final score screens. So you notice I use the MP. They use the map pool size here. So what that does, you can just go to text file and just grab right team MP. It already comes in reading the files, the right font size, the right color, all of that already for you. So furthermore from here, so once you get this set, you can just go in and copy, go to the next one down, paste, boom. You can see my right score pasted. It's in the exact right spot, doesn't need to be moved. So you can go copy from, get your starting soon screen set up, get your names and stuff off of this screen, which I love to have. I think it's great when you're sitting in between screens. Viewers pop in, they easily can tell what's going on, what the score is. You can add as much information as you want in here. I have the tier information for the D9 tournament. It's probably not a bad idea to have a map number or an up next. I've done that before where you can kind of see what map is coming up next. So the endless possibilities with as far as design choices. Yep, back here just back showing the in-game live screen. And that's pretty much the gist of it. That is the general setup and organizational structure I use for all my production. I think it allows me to do a lot. There are a few things. This is just the basic setup. I didn't touch on transitions or audio. And you want to make sure and include all of your alerts and things like that in this area as well. Any transitions you would just place at the top of any of your live screens. So it would just play out whatever the few second transition will just play on top. Audio is an interesting monster. I've got mine set up to where any co-casters I run through my headset, and then game audio I run through my PC speakers. So that allows me in OBS to separate those off. You can have your audio, one get fed from the headset, one get fed from the speakers. Then you have different sliders you can use to make sure that your casters are at the same volume you are, and that they're well above the game audio without them getting blended. So that's real handy, and I found that works with both Xbox Live Parties and Discord. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Discord. Or drop a message. I guess that's about the end of this tutorial.